Yes, sir. Facebook and the YouTube page. Also want to say hello to the gentleman that checked in from Hidden Valley that's up in the Clear Lake area. So we had a good signal down to the Vacaville repeater. Let's see, for the Facebook page, look under To Mike Charlie. We have 60 members now, so we picked up a couple from last week. And the YouTube page, 2 Meter Crew, we have 87 members, so we picked up a couple of views there too. So we are growing.
Yeah, and got to tell you, you're doing a fantastic job editing and putting some of those clips together for the Simplex work. Nice to watch. It's kind of inspiring. Makes you want to get out there and see what you can do barefoot and without a repeater.
Trying to keep 2 Meter Simplex alive. And that's it for me, K6DJZ clear.
All right, thank you, sir. Let's look at report outs. Anybody else got any long distance DXing or simplexing or planned events for that, or any other club planned events for simplex type work?
KM6GWO, question, Carlos.
KM6GWO, go ahead.
Is there certain days, or do you guys have particular days where you designate to operate simplex for what you're trying, or to go out and have fun?
You know, we're a very loose crew here. Just a bunch of guys got together, seemed to gel. So we try this. It depends on people's personal schedules. On a weekend, we may get together. Somebody says, hey, I'm going up on Mount Diablo, or I'm taking a hike up to Signal Peak. We've had a couple of those. I should be there around this time. It's pretty informal. If we know about it ahead of time, I'm going to let this drop. If we know about it ahead of time, we try to put it up on Facebook or on the 2 Meter Crew website, so people that want to participate can get the information. Heck, we've got somebody, Ted the Taxman, some days at lunch, he takes a little hike down in Martinez up on a hill, and he'll throw on a backpack with his mobile stuff and try to do a little simplexing around lunch. So it's very ad-lib. If you're heading somewhere high and you want to try it out, you call it out, schedule it so folks know, and we'll try to see what we can do.
Okay, copy that. Will we notify you via that webpage or Facebook? Which way?
Either way works. Post it up, see who we can get interested, or you can let us know here, and we'll get it posted up for you.
Okay, yeah. I would like to work some simplex with you guys, or see how it works and have some fun, but definitely I was interested in how you guys did it and how you organized it. Thank you. KM6GWO, we're clear and back, listening and waiting for some technical, see if you cover anything technical.
Okay. And yeah, over time, folks kind of share how they've set up their mobile units for simplex, and we've got all kinds of contraptions people rig up and try to improve the signal. So it's kind of fun. It's a challenge. I do enjoy it. Anybody else checking in? Any late check-ins, or anybody else out listening that wants to check in? All right. And does anybody know of any planned events out there? I know we're in the wrong season, but swap meets or ham fests, or maybe there's holiday stuff ham clubs are putting on. Anything you want to share? right, good. We'll move into technical help. Does anybody have any issues they're trying to solve, things they're up against working on, and they want to see if there's an Elmer out there to give us some technical help with it? You can come now. We do usually try to keep these a little lighter. It's kind of hard to cover the real in-depth stuff here, but if you've got something in-depth, shout it out, and maybe we can hook up, make a connection, and offline set something up so it'll work. But if you got a technical question, come now. All right, everybody's solid, no help? Well, if it comes up later and you think about it, we kind of open things up and get a little looser here, chime in and help. We may have some doubles or not, but that's usually what makes this anti-net enjoyable. When you get a good conversations going, I'll try to direct traffic a little bit. That's all I do here. But it is a time for the hams to get together, talk, discuss different items. I got a couple items I was going to throw out there for discussion because I've heard a bit of it on the repeater just last week. And one of them was antenna mass. So some of us younger hams, or younger, new in the ham business, I won't say I'm young, or putting up different antennas, looking at materials for masts, how to mount them. So what are folks doing out there? I know I wish Ted the Taxman was on, but I believe he's at dinner. He just bought a new setup.
I have a question. K6 Delta Juliet Victor.
Yeah, Derek, you got the floor.
I was talking with Rodney earlier about buying coax. I was going to buy a piece of coax, and the question was, is there any significant difference? I was going to buy some LMR 400, and last time I bought coax, it was from the name brand Time Micro Systems. And this time I was looking at ARB Industries, another coax manufacturer. Is there any big difference between the name brands or the second-tier manufacturers of coax cable?
Anybody have any knowledge or experience with the name brands and the knockoff type coax?
W6NIK, I'll throw 2 cents in there.
You used to have the LMR 400 under Times Micro, which was the name brand. Now they're just selling ARB, and I have purchased a couple of jumpers from ARB. They're supposed to be made in the U.S., made in somewhere in Texas, and seems to be pretty good, but I don't know if there's a big difference between the two.
KN6, or I'm sorry, W6NIK had a comment there. Go ahead.
So my 2 cents is, I mean, I think, yeah, there's definitely the name brand cable manufacturers, but then there's also some cable assemblers, which I think is like is it ARB or ABR Industries? Anyways, there's also Cable Experts. They make some jumpers and some stuff like that. There's also MPD, Mike, Paul, David, Digital. I think they're on the East Coast. They're a small little shop that also make cable assemblies to order. Actually, I got a cable assembly from them. It's an LMR 600 with end connectors on each end from them. Really good price, and it's good quality stuff too. So I don't know, Cable Experts at ABR, ARB. I've gotten stuff from them. They all seem to be pretty good quality to me that I've seen. W6NIK.
I know the last couple pieces of coax that I've bought, Derek, I've got one rolled up here in my hands right now. I'm going to take it up to the cabin, and it is ABR Industries. I bought it at HRO. They seem to have pretty good quality connectors, and I definitely don't have test equipment or much other experience other than it seems to work well. When I talked to HRO, kind of told them the length I was going out. These are 50-footers. They recommended a cable. It's what is this? 218 ATC RG8X. It looks like, if I'm reading right. And said at that length I shouldn't have too much loss. And it's what I'm on now. Seems to be working.
Comment?
Yeah, go ahead, comment.
Yeah, this is KM6MRU, Chris here in Benicia. Just wanted to mention that I have a 25-foot run of that MPD LMR 400, and I have to agree, it seems to be very good quality. I'm actually using it now. I know it's only 25 feet, but it does seem to be made very well. It's very solid and very rigid stuff. I don't have the flexible, but I have to agree with the other ham there. It seems to be pretty good. So that's my 2 cents. KM6MRU.
Yeah, perfect. Any other thoughts on the coax? All right. Back on antenna mast, if there's anybody thinking about that. I know I have a Roan, I forget the model number. I think it's 28 feet tall. It's one of those extendable push-up masts. It's worked pretty good for me so far. I did put a little bow in it when I was initially putting up the long wire, but that was kind of all me. I had it thrown over the roof, pulling it from the front yard. Mast was in the backyard. Thought I was caught on something, gave it a tug. I was able to pull the bow right back out of it. It seems to work, extends, retracts well. Probably does need a guy wire if you put much up on top of it, but it was reasonable price and it seems to be working for me.
Are you using that for your UHF, VHF, or HF stuff there, Carlos?
That just has my HF antenna on it. I have a long wire with a ladder feed into the tuner. And so right now it's just the HF up on that mast. The UHF, I went ahead and bought a Diamond X200. And I've been real happy with it. It's what I'm on right now. I still have it on a temporary pole here right outside the garage, up, I don't know, only about maybe 18 feet. So I'm looking around for a spot to put that. There's a little detached garage very close to me, so I may try to run up off the peak of that and try to find some sturdy pole. I know folks have talked about like the chain link fence top poles, I believe, are about 10 feet apiece and seem to be pretty good and rigid. Maybe you put a couple of those together and mount the antenna on the top. I'm not sure. What have other folks used?
Well, this is KM6MRU here again. I'm going to let it drop. Just wanted to make sure I was not doubling there. Well, what I've used, and I still am using, is actually 2-inch PVC electrical, conduit, and it's pretty rigid. Now, I don't have it up 40 feet. I wish I did, but it's good for 20 feet. And one thing I've been thinking about doing is maybe just reducing it down to a smaller diameter and trying to go a little bit higher with it. and the antenna itself seems to kind of help guide it. So it works pretty good. It's up 20 feet, and like I say, I wish it could go up higher. Anyway, KM6MRU.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Is that like conduit you picked up at like a Home Depot, something like that?
Yeah, Roger. It's 10 feet long sections, you know, and one end is kind of flared, so you just can stack them up, and they're only like $10 a pop, and they're pretty rigid now. 2-inch, you know, it's not necessarily stealth, but it depends on your application. So yeah, it's kind of cheap, and it seems to work pretty good, and you can cut it and, you know, do whatever you need to do. Anyway, KM6MRU, back to you, Carlos.
Yeah, I think like for my application, up off of a garage roof, kind of coming down the face of it, that would probably be pretty good. If I could get a 20-foot stick up on that and antenna on top, I think I'd be in good shape. And that swedge fit, that would be good. I think keep things from rocking around. Did you just kind of, what do they, slide fit and a little tap of the hammer to tighten them down, or did you drill that and put a screw in it or something?
Yeah, that's funny. That's a good question. I was thinking about that, and I was prepared to do, you know, anything, even just glue it, you know, I was thinking, but then obviously it's a little bit more permanent. I didn't do anything, to tell you the truth. I only have 2 on there, right? So it's not that much, but they're just slipped on, and it makes it pretty easy. I've taken it off a couple times to do a few repairs, and it does make it kind of simple. And actually, the one that's on the ground, the way I have it mounted, it's kind of funny, but what I did is I just got a big wooden dowel that's like 5 feet long, and it slips perfectly into that conduit and holds it pretty secure. Back to you.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I know on the top of the Roan mast that I have like a 4-foot stick of PVC. I want to say it's 1.5 inches, which slid right inside 6 or 8 inches and then wedged against the dimples in the mast. So that worked really good for me initially, getting it up also and isolating the long wire from the metal mast. But I had the same thoughts. When I bring it back down, I may put a wooden dowel in there. I think it'll be a little more robust.
Yeah, Roger. It worked pretty good. And like I say, that's what I'm using now. But of course, you know, the quest never ends, and I do want to go up higher. I'm trying to figure out how to maybe get stuff up on my chimney. You know, it's way up there pretty high, and I don't like dealing with it up there. But, you know, I do want to try something new eventually. KM6MRU.
W6CRP. I know on the way home tonight, I was talking with Ted, KM6TAX, and he had just received his antenna mast. He ordered that Army surplus equipment, the poles, I guess, that screw together. They're aluminum, and they're like 4-foot sticks, and he got 30-some feet of it. And he said he was really surprised at how heavy they are, thick and robust, and thought that was going to make a really good base antenna for him. He's got a, what did he end up with? A Diamond X510, I think, which is about a 17-foot antenna that he's going to put on top of that. So he needed something pretty substantial there for the base. So I guess that's another option. You can get them on eBay, it sounds like. All right. Well, I think we covered that one. Not a lot of love for antenna mast tonight, but that's good. The next piece, I was hoping Robbie from Auburn, the Auburn Assassin, would be on. Robbie, you out there yet?
here. Can you hear me?
Haha, there you are. Perfect timing. The other topic that came up, Mr. Robbie was actually talking about too, that was crossband repeating. And kind of some folks probably aren't real familiar with that. I tried it on the new Kenwood here and had it up and going. Works pretty good at the house. But what situations was the question I was asked would lend itself to crossband repeater, and any tips on usage or other?
Asking me? I'm on the spot.
No, I was kind of putting your suggested topic out there, and if you want to comment it, absolutely, and go. But no, you're not on the spot. I'm just taking, trying to get a conversation going. Anybody that wants to jump in and lend a little knowledge.
Super cool, and I'm seeing how far I can stretch it out, and I think it has tons of possibilities. I think I can take an HT to my office 7 miles away that has a line of sight and hit this base station and get out all over the place. So, you know, or if you're camping or whatever. Anyway, I've recently discovered it, and it's super cool. And you can do other bands too, like, but theoretically anyway, not this radio, but, you know, from a handy-talkie to your mobile to your base to 6 meters, I don't know.
Yeah, I set this one up and tested it for a few minutes the other day and walked around the yard. Didn't lose any signal with the handy-talkie, so that was kind of cool, especially during the summer when I'm out and about horsing around. Now, I think technically, or I remember my testing correctly, you're supposed to set it up where it will auto-identify every 10 minutes like we're required. So I didn't leave it on for 10 minutes, but I'll have to dig in. I can see there's a setup for that, for setting up Morse code, I think, to have that. Has anybody played with that?
I have not played with that, but I have one other option if you want. W6NIK.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not a very hammy solution, but it's also a little bit more localized to just like your house and stuff. I actually have a Bluetooth transmitter that I have hooked up to my radio, and so just around the house, or if I'm listening, scanning, whatever on my radios, I just transmit out on a Bluetooth, and I have a Bluetooth speaker that I'll just pop up around me for local stuff. Obviously, I can't talk back on that, but it's more of a homebrew, local type thing, and it works pretty good for around my house. And I don't have to worry about all the ins and outs of the transmitting and regulations and stuff that go along with that. So, my 2 cents, and another option, W6NIK.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I was thinking about a Bluetooth headset for when I'm driving. The radio drives Mama nuts. She's not a big ham fan. And so when we're cruising, it would be kind of nice if I could pop in the earbuds and be listening to the radio in the background, join in when I want, and not have to have it going all through the cab.
Yes, and then it also helps around the house to just have a Bluetooth headset. And the wife's wanting to watch TV, and you're just wanting to be in the area, but wanting to listen to ham radio too.
About that new radio you bought, Carlos, you can upgrade to that. A little pricey because of ICOM, but maybe there's your solution.
Yeah, I saw that. What was that, like $145 for a set of Bluetooth headphones or something? Heck, I may try to find an earbud that'll plug into the unit and just stick it in my ear when I'm driving.
N6VLF portable.
Good evening, Kevin. How are you doing?
Well, pretty good, Carlos, in the group. I'm still at work, and I'm on my portable, so just thought I'd say hello.
You are working late tonight, huh?
Yeah, I'll probably get off in about another hour. And I'm gonna swing by Jason's house and pick up a part and then go home. I think I caught the tail end of somebody asking about, I was doing something, but about LMR 400, you know, like the off-brand stuff.
Yeah, they were asking, Derek was asking that, if there's a bunch of difference between, you know, the big name brand LMR 400 or kind of the knockoff brands. Is there a lot of quality difference?
Well, all I can tell you is my experience. I bought a 500-foot spool of the, it's on eBay, and they're also got their own website, but I think it's called Shireen. I have to look it up. It's 500 feet. It's like around 200 and, it used to be 249, but it's anywhere from 249 to $279. I think it included free shipping. And the specs on it were virtually identical, and they have a big cut sheet saying that their stuff is the same. And I did buy it. I did test it. And with the stuff that I have, I couldn't tell the difference. And I think the biggest deal is putting the ends on correctly and making sure no water gets in there. So there you have it. And I also have the Times microwave. I had a spool of that. So we had a little bit of each. And, you know, I'm not sure if they manufacture the Times microwave differently, but the specs certainly were dead on. And the measurements we did on 100-foot links were very, very good on the off-brand. So I'd try it.
Well, there you go, Derek. You still on? The way I know he's in and out, I will relay that info to him later. He'll be interested to hear that.
Now, with all that said, that was bought from a place that has all the specs and has a phone number and has human beings at the other end of it. So I was reasonably comfortable. As well as another friend of mine bought a spool, and he's used it now twice on 2 different installs and for different applications, and he's happy with it too. And but I have purchased some no-name stuff from RG8X, you know, the Mini 8, off eBay. You know, no specs, nobody to talk to. It's just like, you know, here's a 50-foot piece. And, you know, I tested it, and it's okay. But that's the stuff I caution you on, is the no name, no humans, no specs, that kind of stuff. Just, I'd be careful with that stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And you have any insider recommendation, or does anybody, on the fittings for the end? You know, it sounds like that's really where you have to pay attention, is putting in your fittings on the end, making sure no grounding, and keeping it watertight.
Oh yeah, Carlos, the fittings is huge. You know, I like the silver coated. I don't like those ones that are shiny chrome because the solder doesn't stick to them very good. I prefer the crimp on the shield and the solder on the tip. I like that, and I prefer the Teflon insulation. And Amphenol makes one, but I think what's critical is when you're buying them from, you know, either RF Parts or you know, Palomar, or one of the reputable places. Just make sure you buy the connector that's made to fit the cable, so that outside diameter works. Because you can buy a PL259 for a RG8 type cable that won't fit an LMR 400 type cable because it's a little too small. So just make sure you get the right connector and solder it correctly and protect it from water. I think that's the biggest thing I've seen, is the people putting on ends and the things getting water in them or just not being connected right. Anyways, that's enough. N6 VLF.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I prefer the silver Teflon as opposed to the stainless steel type that's got the Bakelite in it myself.
All right, that sounds good. Silver with the Teflon inners. That was F6 KNX.
Kilowatt India 6 Juliet November X-ray.
Okay, 6 JNX. Thank you, sir. Did we have any more conversation or tips around crossband repeaters?
Question here?
Yeah, feel free. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Chris here, KM6MRU. What input frequency are you guys using, say, if you want to use a VHF repeater, and obviously you'd be using a UHF input? Do you have one that works for you, or do you have to kind of search around each time? Over?
Oh, let me guess. I want to say when I was doing it, I was on, man, what was I using? 144/800?
Simplex frequency. You want one that's not in use, otherwise you'll tie up the repeater. KM6FAK. The Northern California 70 centimeter band plan and find simplex or weak signal or something like that.
Yeah, and then give it a listen for a little bit, make sure nobody's on it, and it's clear, and then I guess jump on it.
Roger, roger. That makes sense. KM6MRU.
On my HT side.
You guys doubled up, and Robbie, you were behind it. You want to say again?
I've been using 441 on my HT input side, and I go on low power on both sides of the radio. So the base station is on low power on the 441.000, and my HT, my Baofeng, is on low power because I'm just around the house. But if I was going to go to my office, I might boost those powers on that, what I call the umbilical cord side.
Yeah, roger, roger. That makes perfect sense. I've never tried it. I have a Kenwood 710 G here, and I know it can do it, but I've never actually tried it. But it does sound kind of intriguing just to be able to walk around the house with the Baofeng, right? So, sounds very cool. Thanks for the tips.
So, Carlos?
Yeah, go ahead.
When you're doing the crossband repeat, the frequency that your HT is coming on, be very careful with your squelch. You don't want it too sensitive, because if it picks something else up, again, it's just going to be hammering the main repeater everyone's on. Yeah, so I think Jason just to also spread some more joy about what that means, and also you can get a little Bluetooth earpiece, wireless whole setup. Integrated one into my dirt bike, but you can have your little Bluetooth earbud and then push the talk button on your finger and have your Baofeng clipped on your waistband and walk around the house and talk, and it's perfect. But on the main radio, it's transmitting when it's receiving, so it's working hard. So if you have it connected to a car battery, watch out. And so also the squelch, that can make it work a lot too. So I think that's what you're talking about, Jason. KM6 YKX, Rob in Auburn. Yes. Times it will pick up other signals. There is another station underneath you there, Rob, but you made it through.
Yeah, that was me. And I was just saying, watch the squelch. And so if you're crossband repeating, and your squelch is too low, I would imagine you'd be hearing a lot of white noise on whatever you're cross-banding with, the handy talkie or other. So good to pay attention, and definitely you don't want to leave something like that unattended for a long time because of that chance for causing interference with the repeater.
And there's call. One more thing is, the Northern California 70 centimeter band plan will give you a lot of information if you just Google that. But also, there's a big old circle around Beale Air Force Base, so make sure it's best 70 centimeter. Even the clubs and stuff run some pretty low power because it messes with their early warning radar system, and they will find you and they will locate you, and that is no joke. And plus, we want early warning, right? I would. So anyway, just saying. KM6 YKX.
Yeah, good point. And the other piece is if you're trying it in your truck, which is where I thought it might be cool, if I'm out and about and walking down a little trail or something, and I park the truck at the head and have it crossband repeat, take the handy talkie with me. You're right. You horse around too much like that, and you may drain the battery.
It is 50 watts, like 10 amp hours. So there you go there. I think that's roughly about it.
All right, so if you're running 50 watts, 50 amp hours. I don't know if it's linear like that or not.
Just saying, watch out. Don't drain your battery. And batteries are expensive, so some of them don't like to be drained.
Yeah, no doubt. Did anybody else have any other topics or tech questions that you wanted to throw out for the group? And actually, first, let me ask, is there any other late joiners that want to check in out there?
W0WXL, listening.
W0WXL, thanks for checking in. Anybody else? All right, those are the two topics I kind of had to throw out there to try to stimulate some conversation from the folks, but feel free, any other topics or questions folks have that you want to throw out there for banter. Like I said earlier on, this is a 2-meter crew anti-net, so we're not very much like a net. We try not to be. Try to be pretty open and just sharing whatever we're doing on ham to hopefully learn a little bit every week, and then just kind of check up and see what everybody's up to. So feel free to step in there and bring up anything you'd like. Alrighty. Well, it sounds like we're out of topics, so that was good. A lot of good input, and I appreciate everybody joining in. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll go ahead and close the anti-net, clear back the repeater. Everybody feel free to hang around and talk a little bit. I'm going to slide over to Simplex 14552 and see if anybody wants to roll over there just for see where we can hit. Up to you guys, but Whiskey 6 CRP, thanks again for joining. Clear.
Here, Carlos, I'll see if I can pick you up. KM6 YKX. Good night, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. QSY.
KM6GWO. What was that simplex frequency?
Anyone got a copy? KM6FAK.
KM6YKX, you're loud and clear to me, and I can hear the Benicia station a little bit, and
KM6FAK, KM6GWO.
Go on, Jason.
Hey, got you good, Rob. Yeah, I heard you there, Corey, as well. That's about all I can hear right now from Vacaville.
KM6FAK, KM6GWO, you still copy? KM6 GWO Simplex. Anybody got a copy?